The UFC is back with UFC 314 Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes for the vacant featherweight title. It was originally meant to be Ilia Topuria versus Volkanovski 2, but that fight has since fell out because Topuria pulled out to go up in weight. While we have the co-main event, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett versus Iron Michael Chandler. Let's get right into today's video. Also, live streams will be returning for this fight card because it's a main card. So let's get right into today's video. We have a light heavyweight fight with Dominick Reyes taking on Nikita Krylov. Krylov is 30-9. He stands at 6'3" tall. He weighed at 213 pounds in his last win, has a reach of 77.5 inches and a leg reach of 44.5 inches. While Dominick Reyes is 14-4, he stands at 6'4" tall, weighed at 205 pounds and had a reach of 77 inches with a leg reach of 43.5 inches. Now, just based off of these stats, Dominick Reyes did have one of his toughest fights ever, being against John Jones, where he controversially lost. Krylov has a lot more experience, 30 wins, 9 losses. He's a little bit shorter. He had a little bit of weight over Dominick Reyes. This is only a light heavyweight bout. 0.5 inch reach here for Krylov. Again, it's not a massive difference, so it's not really going to have too much of a say in this fight. Hopefully, it shouldn't do, because it's only 0.5. It's like that. It's nothing. And a 1 inch reach advantage. I can't fucking speak. And a 1 inch reach advantage here for Krylov as well. So it's very close. The height is a 1 inch difference, quite close. And the reach is a 0.5 inch difference, which is quite close. And then a 1 inch leg reach advantage. As I say, if you can kick someone, you can punch someone. So if someone can kick someone, you can definitely punch them. So there's not much of a difference here. It depends on how their game plans are going to go. And Dominick Reyes has got the more knockouts, while Krylov does have more submissions. So Krylov has a bit of an advantage here because the reach is so close and everything is so close that he can get on the inside and get them takedowns. Well, it depends on how Dominick does against his takedown defense. So let's move on to win buys to see how they've got it done in their previous fights. Let's start with Nikita Krylov here. Hopefully I'm saying it right. I keep fucking saying it differently each time, I've noticed. Krylov has a 40% KO TKO, 53% submission, 7% decision with an average fight time sitting at 7 minutes and a knockdown average of 1. While Dominick Reyes, on the other hand, has a 64% KO TKO, 14% submission, 21% decision with an average fight time sitting at exactly 8 minutes and a knockdown average of 1. Now, before we move on to any more win-by stats, we can see here that they both have knockdowns in their previous fight, which is pretty good. Average fight time goes into Krylov's favour, being a lot shorter. And now we come into the most interesting part. They both mainly finish their opponents. That sounds bad, pause. But the point is, they both get wins by stoppages. Dominick Reyes mainly gets knockouts, while Krylov mainly gets submissions. Now, it's going to be a very interesting fight to see if Reyes can keep that distance and keep it on the feet and stay on the front foot to stop Krylov from getting the takedowns and winning by a knockout or by decision, while Krylov, on the other hand, has to do the opposite. Get on the front foot. He has to do what Dominick Reyes should do, get on the front foot, get the takedowns, go for a submission, or get control time, get a decision win, and get some work done on the ground and some on the feet so that you can force the judges into believing that you won the fight. Now, 2025 has been a shit year for judges, so don't be surprised if someone is losing the fight and somehow wins the fight, because judging of 2025 has been the worst ever. UFC 2025 has been the worst year for UFC, in my personal opinion. The fights that I'm seeing are not entertaining. The fights, the judging is ruining the whole fight. So it's not the fighter's fault, it's the judges. And it has not been a great year for UFC or MMA or boxing as a whole at the minute. Boxing, yeah, I mean, not really many fights have happened. Especially not in the influencer scene where fights are being pulled off. So I can't do any streams. I'm waiting to do streams for them. Can't do them. That's not happening now. Some boxing streams I'm not doing because I'm actually going to some of the events, so they can't happen. So this year is going to be a tough year for us for the beginning of the year at least. Hopefully we can get something sorted so we can come back, but right now this is what we got. This should be a very exciting fight in my opinion as well. Dominick Reyes returning, Krylov taking him on for the first time, I think. Don't quote me on that. But let's move on to my other win by stats. So we start with Nikita Krylov, and we're going to continue with him. He has 12 wins by knockout, 16 wins by submission, 2 wins by decision. So don't expect him to get a decision win. He has 1 loss by knockout. He has 6 losses by submission. So he's been submitted 6 times, and he has 2 losses by decision. Don't know why I expanded on the submission thing. He He has 11 wins and 7 losses in UFC, the main one that we need to care about. In Pro FC, he has 5 wins, 0 losses. In OC, Plot MMA, he has 2 wins, 2 losses. And in AMC, he has 3 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, and 0 no contests. His most common wins in the UFC have been submissions. He's had 5 of them. He's had 4 KOs and TKOs in the UFC, and he's had 2 decisions. So his only 2 decisions have come in the UFC. He's lost 2 times by decision in UFC, 4 times by submission, and 1 win by KO and TKO. His last fight was back in 2023, so it's been a good near enough 2 years since he's fought. Actually, it has been over 2 years since he fought, because that was in March 11th against Ryan Spann, where he won via triangle choke. He beat Volkan Oezdemir via unanimous decision in 2022. He beat Alexander Gustafsson in 2022 via punches, so he knocked him out. He lost to Paul Craig, and he lost to Magomed Ankalaev before that, and beat Johnny Walker. So his most common wins recently have been by decision, I want to say. Glover Teixeira beat him by a split decision. So it's been 2-2 with an extra win as well. So his last, I guess you could say 5 wins, right? That's 4 wins, you fucking moron. Decision, triangle choke. So in his last 4 wins, he's had 2 decision wins, 1 submission win, and 1 knockout. His last fight was a submission. So probably expect, based off of the past 4 fights, a decision, but based off his last 1 fight, it was a submission. So I'd say decision or submission is what he will go for. I don't think he knocks out Dominick Reyes, but who knows. Let's move on to Dominick Reyes right now. I completely forgot. Before we do that, we need to talk about what his game plan will be. And I said it in there. I'd expect a submission attempt here. I expect him to be on the front foot, very heavy. If Dominick Reyes starts quick, he needs to try and match what Dominick Reyes is doing, but try and do a bit more. He needs to outperform on him so he can get on the front foot. He needs to start off quick and strong so that he can get on the inside, get them takedowns, and go for a submission. But he's also got to be very careful because Dominick Reyes does have submissions as well. Not as many, but we've seen that in the past he has been submitted by some decent level grapplers, I'd say. But now let's move on to Dominick Reyes. So moving us on to Dominick Reyes, he's had 9 wins via knockout, 2 wins by submission, and 3 wins by decision. He's only lost 3 times by knockout, once by decision, which was against John Jones, and he hasn't lost once against submission. So it's going to be a bit of a difficult fight here already for Nikita. In the UFC, he has 8 wins, 4 losses. In the LFA, he has 1 win. Mainly, we care about the UFC. He's had 5 wins in UFC by knockout. He's had 1 submission in the UFC, and he's had 2 wins by decision. He's had 2 losses by decision and 3 losses by knockout. So I guess they both could try and knock each other out. I think submissions are not gonna happen, but I think Nikita will do a lot better in the grappling. Already, a key thing here, Ryan Spann had beat and knocked out Dominick Reyes, while Nikita had beaten Ryan Spann via triangle choke though. He did submit him, while Dominick Reyes got knocked out. In his last 2 fights, he fought Anthony Smith and Dustin Jacoby. Jacoby got knocked out with punches and knee, and Anthony Smith got knocked out via ground and pound. I also didn't check what rounds they've been knocked out in. I should have done that as well. There's the John Jones loss, Jan Blachowicz, then Yuri Prohaska, and then Ryan Spann, and then he came back on a winning. So he's on 2 fights win streak. If we take away the 2024 wins, he last won in 2019 against Chris Weidman. It's been a long time since he won before 2024. But you're only as good as your last fight, correct? So Anthony Smith, he did quite well against. And Anthony Smith did have more wins over him. Jacoby also had more wins over him. Ryan Spann also had more wins over him. So did Yuri. But it appears that he does fairly well against fighters who have a bit more experience than him. But the question is, how does Dominick Reyes' chin hold up to Nikita's power? Does Nikita have as much power as these other fighters? Does Dominick Reyes have as much power as the people that knocked out Nikita? We're going to find out this Saturday. I can't wait. We're going to move on to the next 2 stats in a minute, but let's go through the game plans. Game plans here, Dominick Reyes will probably be on the front foot trying to go for that knockout. Krylov will probably be doing the same thing. Now, will Krylov try and get submissions? I believe he will. I believe he'll attempt to get submissions, but I don't think he'll get a submission in this fight. I think either this fight goes to a knockout or it does go to a decision. If it does go to a decision, I'm probably going to give it to Dominick Reyes, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nikita somehow wins, even if he's losing. So I'm not going to sit here and be like who wins on decision, because fuck knows with these judges today. But if it does go to a knockout, I will probably, I want to say Dominick Reyes because of the name itself, Dominick Reyes, but I think Nikita might have the upper hand in this fight, but we will have to wait and see. Let's move on to the next two stats. These next two stats will tell us who performed better in their previous fight. Win or lose, who performed better, and they both won in their previous fights. Dominick Reyes landed an average of 6 punches per minute, 54% significant strikes, an average of 4 punches absorbed per minute with a defense of 49%. While Nikita Krylov had an average of 4 punches landed per minute, 55% significant strikes, an average of 3 punches absorbed per minute with a defense of 44%. Quickly, running off of this, Dominick Reyes did better at landing per minute. Nikita did better, tiny bit better, just the smallest bit better at having significant strikes. Nikita Krylov also did better at absorbing, he absorbed less, his defense was a little bit worse. Therefore, his opponent didn't have much output, but every time he did throw, he near enough landed. Not every single time, but most of the time. Dominick Reyes didn't have a much better defense though, while Dominick Reyes also absorbed 4 punches, which Dominick Reyes might have had a better defense, but it does show that there are weaknesses in the game here for them both. They both landed fairly high in their previous fights, so they both can have pretty good output, but Reyes does a little bit better, at least against his previous opponent. Moving us quickly onto the grappling, Nikita Krylov has an average of 2 takedowns, 38% takedown accuracy, 53% takedown defense, with a submission average of 1, while Dominick Reyes has a 0 takedown average, although he has some takedowns. He has a takedown accuracy of 28%, so very poor, and a takedown defense of 82%, with a submission average of 0, but he does have a submission average. Quickly run us off of this. Defense goes into Dominick Reyes' favour, takedown accuracy goes into Nikita's favour, and the takedown average goes in Nikita's favour, with so does submissions. So grappling is Nikita's game plan, or not his game plan. It's his bread and butter, while significant strikes is Dominick Reyes. That doesn't mean that these two will stick to these, and it doesn't mean these are the game plans. But if I was to corner either of these guys, what I'm telling them is to get on the front foot. Mainly Dominick Reyes, get on the front foot, because Krylov has the chance of knocking you out and submitting you, so you need to be on the front foot at all times. Make sure you make a statement in the first few seconds to force him on the back foot, to not allow him to move forwards. They both outperformed each other in their own games in their previous fights, so I wonder how this fight will go. Will Krylov get this takedown, or will Dominick Reyes be able to dominate him on the feet? I guess we'll have to wait and see and find out. I will be back for the live watch party this Saturday, so catch me there. But before we go, who do you think wins, or how do you think to win? Apart from that, I'll catch you in a bit. Take care and peace.